Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a very special SummerSlam edition of Universally Speaking, where we will run down the entire match card ahead of the biggest event in the history of Murph's YT13. But before we get into SummerSlam, we're going to have a quick look at the Apollo Crews situation, as we always do, because as we saw on Raw and SmackDown this week, Vince McMahon confirmed that Apollo Crews has indeed agreed terms and will be choosing his destination at this very show. We understand that the owner of the company that handles Apollo's affairs will be in attendance at SummerSlam as well. So let's move on to the matches for that very show. We begin with Tyler Breeze versus John Cena. We've seen over the last month Tyler Breeze lobby for a marquee match at SummerSlam. And so he went right to the top of the pile, and one of the greatest of all time, John Cena. Cena swiftly accepted, and he made it official. Tyler Breeze and John Cena will do battle in the very first match of SummerSlam. Next up, we have the bitter battle between Seth Rollins and Triple H. This rivalry has gotten extremely personal, ladies and gentlemen, after it was sparked by Mick Foley advising Seth Rollins to get rid of the pedigree as a finisher and become his own man. Triple H took exception to this and subsequently cost Seth Rollins the United States title at King of the Ring with, yep, you guessed it, a pedigree on the outside, while Kevin Owens had the referee distracted. So Rollins wants to take it right up to the game, and he gets that chance at SummerSlam in a Falls Count Anywhere battle. Next on this incredible lineup is the Undisputed Tag Team Championships. We've seen all of the tag teams in the WWE vying for this opportunity, but only two remain. The NXT Tag Team Champions, Sami Zayn and Ryan Lusk, also known as the International Express, they shocked the entire world and American Alpha when they reformed and took those very titles. And the Demonic Wyatt family, who also shocked the world when their impromptu challenge to Enzo and Cass yielded success, and they go on to SummerSlam to face Zayn and Lusk for the right to call themselves the Undisputed Tag Team Champions. And speaking of the Wyatts, the strange situation surrounding hardcore champion Bo Dallas and Bray Wyatt also looms as a dark cloud hanging over the event. We know that Bo has to defend the title 24/7, but it has rarely been cited. Is this the plan of the new leader of the Wyatts? We'll have to find out at SummerSlam. The next match we're taking a look at is Hideo Itami versus Kevin Owens for the United States Championship. This feud, like many others, has gotten very much out of hand, with Owens dishing out several unsolicited attacks on Hideo, but the Japanese superstar has not let any of that deter him from his mission to become the United States Champion and secure his first taste of main roster gold. The next match has had some major ramifications, not only for the two superstars involved, but one that has been forced out of the picture. I'm talking, of course, about the Intercontinental Championship. We saw AJ Styles versus Alberto Del Rio at King of the Ring. They battled it out in a ladder match. But right when AJ Styles was on the cusp of winning his second Intercontinental title, he was shoved from the top by a masked man, and that masked man was later to be revealed as the legendary Bully Ray, who had some specific demands for General Manager Edge if he was to ever see that title again. He requested that he get a one-on-one match with Alberto Del Rio, and Edge was forced to oblige, but that then left AJ Styles without a match and a fair rematch for the title. But at SummerSlam, it's Alberto Del Rio versus Bully Ray for the Intercontinental Championship. Will AJ Styles be involved at SummerSlam, or will he be there to oversee what happens? We'll have to wait and see. Next up is the enormous Divas Championship match between Asuka and Nikki Bella. This is Asuka's chance to silence the Divas Revolution and reinstate the women's title and breathe some life back into the women's division, after Team Bella have done their very best to ensure that the division is known as the Divas division. Is Asuka the great hope for the WWE, or will Nikki and her crew continue their reign? The amazing matches roll on, and perhaps none bigger, ladies and gentlemen, than Shinsuke Nakamura versus Brock Lesnar. Ever since way back in episode 2 of Monday Night Raw, this rivalry has been bubbling beneath the surface. We saw at WrestleMania this year. Shinsuke Nakamura was the first man ever to draw with The Undertaker via a double countout. Paul Heyman, the next night on Raw, called out Nakamura and said his client is the only man ever to beat The Undertaker at WrestleMania. Ever since then, Brock and his advocate have had it out for Nakamura, and this has all boiled over recently. Nakamura, the master of mind games, was absent for majority of the month as a ploy to potentially take the beast out of his game. Has it worked? Only time will tell. Next up, arguably one of the most anticipated matches in the history of the WWE. Roman Reigns takes on The Rock in what is the culmination of a bitter family feud that was instigated by the leader of the Roman Empire. I'm talking about Roman Reigns. He successfully turned twin brothers Jey and Jimmy Uso against each other, battered their father Rikishi, and now it's time for The Rock to try and put one final nail in the coffin of the Roman Empire. It's bitter, it's personal, and something has got to give. We move on to the 2 world title matches and begin with SmackDown Live's world champion Finn Balor, who of course made history just a few weeks ago when he cashed in his NXT championship that he won from Roderick Strong at the final ever NXT TakeOver special Resurgence. He successfully cashed it in on that man Roman Reigns and booked himself a spot in the co-main event of SummerSlam against Samoa Joe. Joe, of course, won the King of the Ring tournament to book his spot and will be looking to continue his freight train-like momentum all the way through SummerSlam and pick up his first ever main roster championship. And finally, we look at the Battle of the Titans. Rusev defends his WWE Championship against the all-conquering and all-time great Goldberg. Rusev injured Randy Orton as well as a litany of other unsuspecting victims on his way to this SummerSlam match, but he was cut off at the pass by the powerhouse that is Goldberg. Rusev initially didn't even want the match, and he and his wife Lana fought tooth and nail to try and get the match cancelled, but it's been signed off by Vince McMahon himself, and we get to see it. 2 of the most dangerous men on the face of the planet, Rusev and Goldberg, collide at SummerSlam. Well, that's it for Universally Speaking, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you are as excited as I am for this massive event, and I look forward to seeing you at the biggest party of the summer and the biggest event in the history of Murph's YT13, SummerSlam. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.